Hello, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Nikki Wellman. The Phyllis Jowell Jewish Day School is named to memorialize a very special Eshet Chayil, generous of spirit and giving in all ways. Phyllis Jowell was truly a woman of valor who strongly supported Torah learning and Jewish continuity during her lifetime. Phyllis lived by the motto, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your fellow as yourself, in that the essence of her life was what she selflessly did for others. Today, her influence continues in that young children have the opportunity to be educated in a Torah-inspired environment.
What's the angels going up and then coming down? What does that tell us?
He's already left us physically, but now he's actually spiritually leaving.
I think that the importance of Phyllis Jowell can be summarized based on a beautiful passage in the Talmud, where one rabbi is speaking to his colleague, and he says in Hebrew, Ein ha'olam mitkayem ela behevel pihem shel tinekot shel beit rabban, which means the world only exists through the voice, literally the breath of young children learning Torah. At which point the rabbi turns to his colleague and he says, well, what about us? Well, maybe the world exists because of the Torah learning that we do. And he answers, he says, no, because the little children are innocent and sin-free, whereas we already are older and we've been exposed to more of the world. And therefore our Torah, although it's great, has sin connected to it. And if you take that seriously, if you look at that statement of our sages, it means that the world, or the Jewish world, only exists through little children who are learning Torah, because they're the next generation. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Phyllis Jowell School, to teach the children Torah, to teach them Jewish values.
There are many streams in Judaism. There's many streams in Orthodox Judaism. And all of these streams find a place in the school. And that, I think, is amazing. That, I think, is almost unique of any place, any school that I've certainly seen in which religious education takes place, that you have so many different children that are sitting and learning together. And what unifies everyone, what unifies all of them, is their desire to learn Torah and the desire to learn skills in a very, very specific way.
In terms of our pedagogical style at the school, what's so important for me, and I think more important possibly than anything else, is that Judaism and Jewish studies is not a subject but a lifestyle. And because of this, our Jewish values, ethics, ethos, way is actually underpinning absolutely everything that happens in the school. However, of course, we have very specific Jewish study subjects that we do learn and integrate general study subjects into them. So we're constantly trying to really teach children about life and a lifestyle that's going to be one of giving and loving kindness and really doing good in the world, both for our Jewish community and for the community at large.
For me, this early age is critical. If I think back to my education, I went to a Frum school and it was fantastic. The philosophy of education is incredible. The kids are really taught so much. It's the kind of sponge philosophy that you teach and they'll soak it up, and they do. The kids learn incredible things. They learn amazing songs, and it's just the more you teach them, the more they learn.
It has an intimacy and an environment in which children completely and utterly thrive, and it has a focus on values and that are in a way actually separate to religion. Yes, it is a religious school with a religious foundation, but it's the core of its emphasis is on values, and ones that are timeless and abiding, and which I really wanted my children to imbibe in a way that the school allows.
They seldom stink, because before they left their old house to move into their new house, they ate lots and lots of honey.
With Rosh Hashana, it's an excellent example of how pedagogically we go about teaching. So certainly in our playgroup and our preschool, it's very concrete. The children do a lot of crafts and do a lot around Rosh Hashana in terms of their bodies, in terms of making things. In addition to, of course, learning about Rosh Hashana, but the more concrete their learning is, the better. And as we saw, a beekeeper comes in, we try and make it as educational as possible. And in each grade, we try and, obviously, according to their cognitive skills, devise a program where they can talk about things like reflection and introspection and do practical activity around those things. So some children in in some classes will keep a diary the whole month of Elul, the month before Rosh Hashana, in order for them to practically reflect and say, what did I do well today? What was I challenged with? And every day we give them a list of things to look out for, and they can practically see that by Rosh Hashanah, yes, I'm doing better, or at least I can see where my challenges are. One of our very special things that we do in the school is our twinning with the Earth Child Project. The Earth Child Project goes into schools in order to uplift the children and to give them various skills and various means of expressing themselves. So they do earthworm farming, organic farming, yoga, storytelling. And this was a wonderful way for our children to come on an equal footing with previously disadvantaged children and, in truth, presently disadvantaged children to do things together. And so the children from Sakun Lamdela school have come here, and we have also gone to their school in order to do these projects together. And what has been so wonderful is how our children have learned from them. And what is so important about this project is that our children are not isolated from what's going on in South Africa. So my aim for the school is really to produce children and to develop children physically through sport and movement, spiritually through Torah values and the learning and studying of text and ritual and having Jewish experience. One of the biggest and most important things for us is that these children love being Jewish and love practicing Judaism, because we can teach them the practicalities, the rituals, the experience, but if they don't love it, they will lose it and they will give it up. And so we do many, many programs bringing various institutions and people into our school in order to make Jewish studies specifically really, really exciting.
Rosh Hashana refers to the celebration of the Jewish New Year. And while there are many elements of joy and celebration, Rosh Hashana is a deeply religious occasion. The customs and symbols depict the holiday's dual emphasis on happiness and humility. And today we reflect on the blessings associated with this special festival.
We refer to the day as Yom HaZikaron, a day of remembrance, where we hope to evoke Hashem's, God's positive memories of our ancestors and our forefathers, that should have a positive bearing on the judgment for our coming year. And we begin our meal over the 2 loaves of bread, the challah. And here you'll notice right away that the challah is different to the challah that we have on Shabbat, whereas the challah is usually the braided rolls. Here we have a round roll. One of the major themes of Rosh Hashanah is that we kind of accepting Hashem's sovereignty. God as King of the world. Round is also the concept of the circle of life. It's a day when we reminded, I suppose, of our mortality. We hope for completeness also. Round is the sense of completeness. We're looking for completeness and wholeness in the coming year. Once we cut the bread, before we eat it, so usually we would dip the bread in salt. Here on Rosh Hashanah, we dip the bread in honey. And this is the first symbolism of hoping for a sweet new year. Then we eat a few symbolic foods. So we begin with taking a sweet apple and dip that in honey. And we say a special prayer, may it be the will of Hashem, that the new year be a good and sweet new year. The goodness and sweetness we usually associate together. If it's good, surely it's sweet. And I think one of the ideas that come out here is that in truth we accept that everything that comes from on high is good. the sweetness is really asking that it should be a revealed good. Now, Rosh Hashanah is unique amongst the holidays, the Jewish holidays, in that it's the one holiday where we in the so-called diaspora and Jews in Israel celebrate 2 days. And our rabbis have defined this almost as one long day. Now, at the beginning of every special occasion, we make a special blessing. And usually that becomes part of the Kiddush on the eve of a festival. Now, being that Rosh Hashanah is considered one long day, and we've already said Kiddush on the first night, and we've said the blessing Shechianu, we've given thanks for being able to celebrate this Rosh Hashanah, this new year. So it's doubtful whether or not we should be saying that blessing again on the second night. So in order to give us an opportunity to say the Shechianu on the second night of Rosh Hashanah, we eat a new fruit. A new fruit means something that's seasonal that we have not yet had an opportunity to eat, like a pomegranate. A pomegranate is known to have many, many seeds in it. Traditionally, we're told that there are 613 seeds in a pomegranate. I'm not sure if this is scientifically exact, but we know there are 613 mitzvot. So we ask that in the coming year again, may it be the will of Hashem that this year we increase our merits like the seeds of the pomegranate.
Well, that's all we have time for this week. We'd like to wish all our Jewish viewers Chag Sameach and well over the fast. And as always, from me, Nikki, and the entire team, Shalom and have a safe and peaceful week.